Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 7.1 on solving systems graphically. So just to begin with, when we say solving graphically, we're specifically talking about linear equations in 10C. If you look forward to next year, 20-1, that would be solving quadratics graphically, a system of quadratics graphically. But right now we're looking at solving linear systems graphically. And this is going to apply to all TI-83, TI-84 models of calculators. If you have a Casio or an Inspire, you're going to have to find different rules, different buttons to press. But the idea behind it is the same. So let's take a look here. We're going to start off with a simple example, and we will get to more and more complicated examples. So to begin with, we have an example here where we have two different equations. So that's a system of equations when we have two different ones. And I'm going to label the first one as y1, second one as y2, simply because when I do that, it becomes a little bit more obvious. There you go. My calculator wasn't turning on, but taking a little bit to press all the buttons. I'm not sure why, so I might... Oh, I have to double press. Weird. Well, I can do that. It's kind of a weird thing, but that's alright. Anyways, so you're going to press the y equals button on the top left-hand side of your calculator. Then you're going to type in both of those two equations that you have, whatever they happen to be. It's just at this point that they're very simple. We're also going to get used to this function here. So the window settings, if you press window, you can see all of those settings in there. These are the min and max of the window when you graph it. So the maximum x value, maximum y value, minimum x value, minimum y value. And if you any time you want to get back to this, there is a very simple way of doing that. You press zoom and then 6. So zoom standard, so zoom 6. And it gets you back to that window settings. And it will graph it. So now that we've pressed zoom 6, it has graphed the two lines that we have. And you can see we have one diagonal line and one horizontal line. So if you go back 1 unit, you can see that horizontal line there because it's y equals 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find the intersection. So second function, trace, or if you see there in yellow above the trace button, there's a calc button. I believe on the TI-84s it's blue, but the same button applies in the same spot. And then you go down to where it says intersect. You could press 5 to skip pressing the down button, or just go down, press enter. And then once you've done that, you're going to move your cursor to the correct location. And you're going to press, so it's got a question on the screen. It says first curve. So you're going to press enter to agree with that first curve. And then second curve, do you agree that that's the second curve? And yes, we press enter. And then we guess, and we press enter. And it gives us the intersection. And hopefully you guys can see that this is going to be an easy one because of the numbers being nice and easy. But it gives us the answer of -1, +1. So our answer is this in brackets. You could also say x equals -1 and y equals +1. But keep in mind that this is a set of numbers, a ordered pair of numbers that is the solution. So both have to be a solution. Okay. So that's relatively easy. With a second equation, that's very easy. Let's take a look at another example. So what we're going to do is just go to y equals, and we're going to clear both of them out. And then we're going to start typing in all this stuff. Now, on a TI-84, you have a special button. I just don't have an emulator on my on this computer. I'm doing this from home. For the TI-84, just the TI-83. So the TI-84 is really nice because if you press, and I'm just going to write it on the screen here, whoops, alpha, and then if you press y equals, and then enter, it will let you type in a fraction. Okay, so this is a really, really nice tool to make it look a little bit nicer. Now, if you have a TI-83, you're going to have to type it like this. Bracket 1 divided by 2 bracket, and then that is your fraction. And now you can press x minus 2, and that is our first equation. Our second equation is 3x plus 2. And now we're going to graph that. Just press the graph button on the top right of the screen. You're going to get two different equations. We're going to press, or two different lines, two different functions. We're going to press second function, calc, or trace, intersect, and then you move to the position where you think it is, right about there. Enter, enter, enter. You have to press it 3 times, and you get your answer. And so the first one you can see are nice whole numbers. The second one here is going to be decimals. And I'll tell you that if you're graphing it, it's usually because you're going to get a decimal answer. Okay, otherwise you'll usually do it algebraically, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Okay, so hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. I would recommend you pause the video and try the next question out yourself, see if you can figure it out. Okay, so the big deal about these next two questions is that you need to make it into y equals. So you can see here that this is not in the form y equals mx plus b. So you're going to have to change it into y equals. Because if you don't put it into y equals, then you won't be able to plug it in here. And you can see that in our calculator, there's only y equals. We can't type in 2y equals. It doesn't work. So we're going to have to rearrange this. So 2y equals, and then we just add x to both sides. So x plus 5. And then we're going to have to divide 2 on both sides. So y equals 1 over 2x plus 5 over 2. Okay, so we divide by 2 on both sides, and now we can use that equation. So now that we have that, now we can type in the first equation, 3x plus 2. And then the second equation, 1 divided by 2x plus 5 divided by 2. Oh, I should do that in brackets. Brackets are not really necessary for that second one, but we'll do brackets anyways, just to get in a good habit there. So there is our second, or our third example in terms of graphing. And now we're going to press second function, calc, intersect, and you go to that position where you think it is, roughly there, enter, 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 and you get the values of 0.2 and 2.6. So our answers are 0.2 and 2.6. Okay, and I believe this is our last example for today. So example number 4. Okay, so you're going to have to rearrange a lot more on this one. So I'm going to call our first equation the red equation and rearrange that. And the second equation will be in blue. And we're going to rearrange that. And once we have both rearranged, then we can plug it in our calculator. So the first one is relatively easy because we just have to move the y over. So it's 2 over 3x plus 2. And then we add y to both sides, and it just straight up moves over, and it's relatively easy because we don't have to divide by anything. The second equation in blue, we are going to have to do a little bit more. So because y is already positive, I'm going to move everything else over instead of moving the y over. So it's going to be 2y equals negative 2x plus 3. Then I'm going to move the 2 over, so it's going to be negative x plus 3 over 2. Oh, sorry, plus 3 over 2. Yeah, I was right before. Okay, so that is our new equation. So now we're going to graph this equation and this equation, and then you can find the intersection after that. So let's start this out. So it'll be 2 divided by 3x plus 2, and then it'll be negative x plus 3 divided by 2. Oh, my plus didn't work, so I'm going to add that. So if you want to add something partway through, we actually have a button called insert. So if you look above the delete button, there's INS for insert. So if I press second function, insert, then I can actually add something without deleting the previous thing that I had. So just a fun fact. Okay, so where you have those lines, now we're going to graph it. Okay, and there's our graph. So we do second function, calc, intersect, somewhere over there. So enter, enter, enter. I was a little bit off, but you know, close enough. So now we're going to get negative 0.3, comma 1.8. And that is our answer. Yeah, so I hope that this video helps you better understand how to solve systems graphically. If it starts off as both of them being y equals, that's easy. But if it starts off as something other than that, you're going to have to do some algebra to rearrange it into that form. Graphically is wonderful in a multiple choice or numeric response setting, but on written response, you're going to probably have to use algebraic processes, because the question will say solve algebraically. And that's where our next video is going to come in. So see you in the next one. Good luck.